Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian at Supermaster.com, and welcome to my video review of the Oscar-nominated film Brooklyn. So let's get right into it. Now, there are a lot of reasons why I was very much looking forward to this film. Like, the film first, when I first heard about this film, was when it sort of premiered at the Sundance Film Festival back in 2015, and when it sort of premiered, it got a lot of critical acclaim from critics, and also Saoirse Ronan's performance got a lot of buzz as well, and so that definitely put the film on the map towards, for me, definitely checking it out in the future. And now pretty much over a year later after that film came out, the film has gotten even more critical acclaim and more and as well as getting awards and nominations for the film as well, particularly getting 3 Oscar nods, including Best Picture, Best Actress, and Adapted Screenplay. So the question is, though, like, did this film actually, live up to the hype? Like, is it as good as everyone says it is? And I have to say, I thought it did. Like, I'm not going to say it's the most amazing film by any means, but I thought it was but it's still a truly wonderful film. I just felt it's such a beautifully crafted film in so many ways, and I found that both very affecting. It's both a love story, but also this sort of story of this young woman who leaves her home in Ireland to travel to America to live in Brooklyn so she can start a new life, and sort of the trials and that she goes through being away from her family, and like, is she being homesick and eventually sort of finding love and finding, hope in it for a future, and as well as kind of during the course of the film sort of being torn whether to stay in America or go back and stay in Ireland because of family problems and whatnot. So the film does a really good job at conveying that in a way that it's just so beautifully done, and I just found this movie quite moving, quite funny, and it does it and it's not a melodramatic film in a way. It's sort of it plays itself very subtly with its drama and the emotions of the story, and it's just a beautifully made film. And I know I've said that a few times now, but it just really is. I just thought it was charming, and it's just so good. It's a really good film, and that I really enjoyed a lot. And I think one of the reasons for that is the performances. Saoirse Ronan this is definitely the film that has finally transitioned from sort of a young child star to a young woman, and she's always been a great actress, and I've always enjoyed every single one of her performances, and this is definitely up there as one of her best. She is truly great in this film, and she brings a lot of charm and likability, and you just can't help but root for a character during the course of the film and what she's going through, and she just does it in such a beautiful way, and she definitely was very much worthy of her Oscar nod for this film. And also the supporting cast, like Jim Broadbent, Julie Walters, Domhnall, Gleeson, were all great in their roles. Some of them probably don't have as much screen time as you expect, but they just make the most of their roles, and each of them sort of brings a different kind of element to the film. Like, Julie Walters brings a lot of humor, Jim Broadbent brings a lot of humanity with his priest character, and Domhnall Gleeson is kind of brings the love triangle to the equation of the film, and as well as kind of giving in a way a reason for Saoirse Ronan's character to maybe stay in Ireland as well. But to me, one of the biggest surprises of this film was definitely Emory Cohen, who is a young actor, and I've seen him before in other film. He played Bradley Cooper's son in The Place Beyond the Pines, and I have to be honest, I thought he was one of the worst elements of that film. Even as much as I do love that film, he was definitely one of the few weaker elements of the film. I thought he just gave a really bad performance. But here he's a complete polar opposite. He's very likable, very charming, and you can tell he's sort of channeling a bit of sort of a James Dean or a Marlon Brando in the way he sort of approaches his role, but he brings so much charm to that character, and you can't help, and you can see why Saoirse Ronan's character falls for him, and he's also just a really likable dude who just it's just a really good performance, and definitely one of the best of the supporting cast after Saoirse Ronan. And also, it's beautifully directed as well. It's directed by John Crowley, who's a director I've just surprisingly had seen quite a lot of his films. Is Anybody Out There? Closed Circuit, but definitely without a doubt, his best film, and one that when I found out he was directing this film, I had to see. Was Boy A. If you haven't seen Boy A, that's a fantastic film as well, for an amazing performance by Andrew Garfield. So he's a very accomplished director, and he does a really good job with his work here. And it's just so well done, and in every way, not directing wise, and also the screenplay by Nick Hornsby is beautifully well written as well. And also score, lovely, cinematography, beautifully done. It's just a really good film. I really like this one a lot. In terms of negatives, I will say though, as much as I think it's a very beautifully shot film, I did feel that at times the film kind of visually kind of felt like a TV movie. Not that that's a bad thing, it definitely didn't feel as cinematic as it could have been, and it just felt very TV movie-ish. Like I said, not this is a bad thing. It just felt that's how it's kind of looked visually, and I kind of wish that they sort of did something more with that, so it didn't feel like that, and so it felt more film-like rather than TV movie-like. But overall, I think Brooklyn is a great film, and definitely very worthy of all the buzz and awards talk and whatnot it's received. And I definitely recommend everyone to check it out. It's a really good film. It's just a wonderful film. So if I had to rate this film, I'd give it 4 stars. I think it's really, really good. So yep, that's the end of my video review of Brooklyn. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone.